the last couple of days gone? What do you feel like? Where do you feel like you are right now, I guess?
I'd say Saturday and today, I think we're getting better. And I'd attribute to maybe some of the older guys being out, but I think there's, not quite the intensity that I would love. Today was not a very taxing day. It was 2 minute and some throwing situations, which I think we need. I think our quarterbacks need, our pass rush needs. So I'm anxious this Thursday. We invited all the parents on the team to come out and watch practice and before they head home for Easter break. So, but we're getting better. It's just not. I'm maybe a little impatient person. It's not quite with the intensity today and yesterday on Saturday that I wanted. But we are getting better.
There's some legislation. The NCAA Division I Council is going to go this week. Is it your understanding that you'll be able to hire, if that goes through, a 10th assistant coach before the season starts? And how do you think that's going to affect recruiting?
Yeah, so it's all bundled in. All the legislation's bundled into one. So
yeah.
There's a bunch of really groundbreaking legislation that's going through. One of those is the hiring of a 10th coach, which I think is very much needed. You talk about the ratio we have in our sport. We're talking about, really including me, 10 full-time coaches, 9 full-time assistant coaches for, 115 guys. So you'd like from, safety, monitoring, education, mentoring, you'd like to have another coach working with them. I don't know if it'll pass in bulk, and then there's talk about maybe splitting it up. I don't know if that'll happen. And then if they do pass it, there's talk about whether it will happen before the season or if it will happen after next season.
In January,
so, yeah. I'm all for it happening now because I'm a coach, and the more guys that have jobs, I'm happy for them. And I think it's, in terms of player safety and development, I think it's wonderful. But if not, then hopefully it'll happen in January.
What about the recruiting aspect of it? How do you think that's going to change
Just
things?
one more guy on the road,
yeah.
And a lot of those guys can already recruit, while people are on campus, etc. But now there'd just be one more person on the road, which again I think would be great for us, especially as we cover the state of Texas.
Coach, these guys aren't used to a playbook. How are they taking to the playbook?
Oh, they've been great. I mean, they're great, smart kids, and they learn. And, at the end of the day, like what we're doing is not very much different. There's only so many plays you can really run in football, so it's not that much different. It's just, as I tell them, and I show them, we got coaches that represent, 8, 9, 10 NFL teams on our staff, and what we call ride 34 at the Giants, someone else calls, 15. It's the same play, right? So, but we have these are smart guys, and they've done a nice job of learning and memorizing and buying into the learning process, which can be voluminous for any team, anytime, when you have to learn a new offense or defense.
How big is the playbook? Is it a lot of pages or?
I think they hide parts of it from me, so I don't see it. Coach Snow's is pretty thick,
okay.
But a lot of it's because Coach Snow starts out by making the kids all learn the offensive formations, and he makes them all learn the offensive routes. So if you play for Coach Snow, you learn offense before you ever begin to learn defense, and that's part of the comprehensive building of a player.
Oh.
And offensively, they have a good bit.
Have the injuries affected you being able to install what you'd like to this spring?
Not really. At times they've asked us to have some guys have had to do double duty for us in some positions, but I think we've taken the approach of our job is to coach whoever's out there, and a lot of guys. Josh Malin came back today, which was great. Gave us another body out there on the offensive line. So, but yeah, we've just kind of moved ahead with the install and corrections, and even if a guy's banged up, he can still learn. We still expect them to learn, and that's a great lesson for them to learn as they move into pro football. Is if you get banged up, you better know what you're doing when you get back, or it's a short career. So we've kind of stayed the course on that.
Matt, not a lot of experience back there in the secondary. What do you see from those guys?
And the guys who have played are, have been a little bit banged up. I think Chance Waz has done a nice job, back there. But, Sells has been in and out. Davian Hall's been out for the whole spring with a hamstring. But I think those guys are getting better. They're working, and we're putting a lot on them. And but they're doing a nice job, and I think they're definitely learning. It's just, if there's a position that takes the attrition of camp, it's defensive back. These guys get tired because we run them so much. But we got good kids, and they're working to get better.
How many guys do you have missing out there for injuries?
I don't know, 5 or 6 or 7. A couple of those kids had surgery before the season, and today, Young and Sales has been in and out. Davion Hall's out. Pezel's out.
Is Taylor back?
Taylor's not back yet. No.
How the cornerbacks look? You mentioned the safeties. How the cornerbacks?
Yeah, I think corners have done a nice job. We lost Graylin and Tolbert before spring really started, and then. But I think the other kids have done a really nice job, and they have talent. Texana's a young kid who can run. They're just young. I mean, as I tell them, I said, this process you're going through as a freshman into a sophomore, where you doubt yourself, and then you kind of come back, get some confidence, and you get beat. That's where you become a good corner. That really is. I mean, you really don't become a great corner to me until you get beat in the game and you say, okay, that wasn't the end of the world. I can do this, right? So we try to simulate that in practice, so you don't have to wait to the games. But I think I'm pleased with all those groups. Those kids are all developing and getting better.
There's Wainwright's out there. He had some gloves. Looked like he was ready to run some routes. You gonna play tight end for you guys?
I don't know about that. I asked him to come over and help me with my jump shot. So I'm struggling in the Newtown basketball game, but it's just a winter, and so I invite him over to practice.
What's your philosophy when it comes to special teams, and what have you guys really been working on in that aspect, the competition out there? I noticed Connor and Drew kicking field goals there.
Yeah, so we don't do very much special teams during the spring football. We're probably one of the only teams that's like that. It's my old Coach Paterno and me. We never did special teams at all in the spring other than field goal. And so we give them some work, and we try to put them in some competitive situations today where we did a field goal period, but then, where they, in that 2 minute, if you won, you could kick the field goal, and if not, then they had to run. So, we'll try to get really good at that battery, snap, kick, hold, protect, and as we also, I don't know if you noticed, we did it live, and that's one of the reasons why we led the country the last couple of years, and we've been one of the leaders in the country in block kicks, is because we do it live and take it seriously. So, but the rest of the special teams will kind of develop through the summer into the fall, and really in the fall count on the special team guys to do it.
Looked like you were trying to scare the field goal.